You must be tired now. It's been
Not yet.
a complicated day. Long day.
Well, really hard, busy day, but I'm not tired yet because I'm going to meet amazing girls next.
Is there anything common between Mexico and Pakistan? The people, the warmth, anything at all?
Well, I was coming like when I saw the building, they were really colorful and the roads were busy. And the building styles and things look like most of the cities in Pakistan, like Karachi and Peshawar. So I felt presence of that. So there was one similarity, but also the energy of people. I'm just so grateful to see that people here want change and they want to make their country better.
And then we have in common the spicy. You have the curry here, we have a lot of spicy.
Yes. I haven't tried Mexican food yet, so I'm
Maybe
going
that's
to
your
try
assignment
next.
now.
Yes, I'm going to try next. Yeah.
We're talking about such an inspiring journey. But let me try to find out something. What this Malala, sitting right here, with so many Mexicans inspired by looking at you, what do you have in common with 10 years ago Malalas? What has it changed? What remains?
I think I'm just the same Malala. I never feel like I have changed, and I don't remember the attack on me. I don't remember that incident. So I don't feel like I'm the girl who was shot and now I'm different. Like I still have the same dream, the same ambition. So I just stay focused on my mission, that is to see every child get education. That was my dream 10 years ago as well, and that's still my dream. So nothing has changed much, but then I have grown a bit. So you feel a bit more grown up and learned a lot more from your experiences.
But being now awarded a Peace Nobel Prize, is it easy for your parents to give you indications to be parental? You still argue with your brothers? I mean, you are a Peace Nobel Prize though.
Yeah, I think I have grown up in other things, but not in that. For my brothers, I'm still like the normal sister who would argue and fight, and my brothers, they're really cheeky, they annoy me all the time. So.
Still playing cricket with them? Not any longer.
I play cricket with them, but they just think I'm not good at it, and they just tell me not to play with them, but I do force them to play with me.
Only cricket? With which other sport?
Badminton, we sometimes go bowling. I'm not really good at sports. I like watching cricket more, and I like watching tennis, but I'm not really a good sports kind of person.
But then sports can achieve unimaginable things, amazing things. Last Olympics we had a refugees team, which it was really overwhelming. What do you think about that situation? What can sports do? What sports must do?
I think in sports, like you bring all your energy, you try to show your talent, and also that you enjoy it. It's part of your health as well. That you are fit physically, mentally as well. You're healthy, but also when different countries play sports, it's a moment of building up that friendly relationship between countries and good relationship between the people as well. I think it's a source of enjoyment. So I think sports are really healthy for individuals, but also for countries and communities.
Allow me to ask you something. After reading your book, watching your film, it seems as our main enemy it's the fear. Am I correct? How dangerous is it to be living in fear, to have fear?
It's a really difficult time when you're living in fear, and that is when there's absence of peace, that is when there's absence of hope, and you don't know what your next day would be like, you don't know if you are safe or not, and that sometimes limits people from living a healthy and happy life, that limits people from dreaming big, from achieving their dreams, and especially for girls who are living in fear of losing their honor or living in fear that they would be targeted. These are big challenges to girls. So I think we have to fight against our fear that we have in our hearts, and we have to stay confident and stay positive. And I think for that, uniting is important, that we stand with each other, because if you are alone you would have more fear, but if there's someone next to you, you can fight against that fear, because now you're two people, and then if you have more people, then you are hundreds and thousands. So unity is important to fight against fear.
And then comes your dad. I was paying attention of the way he looks at you. I was amazed, proud, taking care of you. How was your dad's role to be the person you are right now?
If my father had not allowed me to speak, I don't think I would have been here. There were many other girls who wanted to speak out, but their parents, their brothers did not allow them. So what's different in my story is that my father allowed me to speak, to be myself. So men in society, the whole society needs to allow women to be who they are. The women don't need any extra training or some kind of developing skills. They have all the skills and they can do a lot, but they just need to be allowed to go. They should not be stopped.
And Pakistan is far away from here. The Taliban tragedy is far away from here. So it's sometimes hard to understand how it was like to be raised at that point in Swat, in your valley.
It was a very difficult situation, and I know that there are some conflicts going on in Latin America as well, and children are fleeing those. So it's really difficult time because firstly there were suicide attacks, there were bomb blasts, more than 400 schools were destroyed. You would see these men on the road with these big guns, and they would be telling women to stay at home, telling girls not to go to school, and your freedom is gone, your life is gone. You can no more enjoy and live your life. And it's some things that people often take for granted, like you go out to a market and you're free to buy things, you're free to go to school, and you just take it for granted. And we went through a time where we had lost freedom and we were living in fear. So it was important for us to speak out at that time.
You were speaking about ecology, speaking about peace, but mainly about education. Why education?
I was in school myself, and I was only 10 years old, and I just could not imagine my life without education, because I knew that if I don't go to school, I'll be just like other girls who did not go to school, then just became mothers, grandmothers, get married at very early age, like 13 or 14, and never are able to show themselves as women and show what they can contribute to society. And I just did not want that life. Like, you can marry at any age. There's no limit to that. Like, you can marry after 18 and you have a lot of time to get married and have children, but before the age 18 you should be focused on your education, and you should really learn and grow up and build up yourself. So I just could not imagine that at the age of 11 I would be stopped from school and just be sitting at home and doing nothing.
Waiting to have children.
Yeah.
And why women tend to fear so much to the women, tend to put limits, so many limits to the women? Why? Why women do that?
I think there are different reasons. One is like this kind of mental concept that women are inferior, and we have to change that, and women need to show up in that, and women need to like come out and challenge them. Like, there's I heard about women's football team, and I heard about like women in the army, women in engineering, in businesses, in politics. And if you have these examples of women, it encourages more women to come forward, and it tells men like, look, women can do anything. Do you see these women who have already done it? So there's like clear examples of women. So that's one thing, but also they need to think about their own daughters, their own sisters, and if they do not allow their own daughters and sisters to get education, then that puts like more burden on the family, more pressure on the family, and it's not beneficial to the man himself as well. Because if you educate a woman, then there's more benefit to the family, to the whole community. She's aware of her rights, she's independent, she can live her life on her own, and she can live a healthy and happy life. So I just think they just need to understand that. Yeah.
And then we have the tolerance issue. Of course, you were facing a lot of intolerance, of repression. But currently in the world, even in modern societies, or so-called modern societies, we have populism coming back, extremism coming back, speech of fear and hate, Islamophobia in Europe, for example.
Yes.
What can you tell me about that?
I think it's really disappointing to see this hatred, Islamophobia, or anti-Semitism, or all these different issues, racism, that they're just coming back, including like sexism against women. And but I think it's kind of a call to each and every one of us that wake up, and this is the society. Whether you are in the West, in the East, in the developing world, in the developed world, wake up, and this is the society, and you still have a lot to do. You still have to work hard and make sure that you fight against these challenges, because I think people were quiet. People just took for granted that things were okay, but things are not okay, and these things were there before as well, but not highlighted, and now they are highlighted. So we have to unite for this, and make sure that we challenge these things. And I think living like a hate life, which is just full of hatred, is just of no use. And if you are sexist, if you are racist, I don't think there is you're living a healthy life, because if you have hatred in your heart, that's not a healthy life. You always should have positive energy. You should always have love for others, and it makes your life even more beautiful. And think of the world as one place for all humans. We might be different in color, in religion, in language, but that's the beauty. And celebrate it, be proud of it, but don't make it as an excuse for hatred.
Sounds funny. I have heard that you used to have a lot of problem to wake up every morning. But now it seems like you're like a wake-up call for your whole generation. This is the moment. Your generation must change the world, because
Yes.
we cannot keep on going with the same vicious cycle.
Yes. So I hope that the youth, they become the change makers, and they say that whatever is there in this society, racism or hatred, we do not accept that. And I see this in the younger generation. They are more, they accept diversity, they accept people from different communities, they're more open-minded, and I hope that maybe people learn from the young people in this. Yeah.
I was talking with a refugee from Syria, and she was telling me that she was missing the smell of Damascus. She could not explain it.
Yeah.
What do you miss from Swat? What do you miss from your homeland?
I think I miss my home, my friends, my school, and all those old memories that come to my mind, and even like the dirty roads and like the dirty river, all the bad smell of the river, and it's also the nice places as well, the beautiful mountains. So I think you miss everything, and when you have lost something, that's when you realize that it was important to you. You start thinking back and you say, I have lost something really important, because we take things for granted. So I do miss Swat, I do miss my home, and I hope that I'll be able to go back to my home and my country and continue working for education there.
And I guess that the ones that never had to flee a country to be a refugee, we will never understand what it's like to be forced to leave your house.
It's a very difficult time, and people should really think about all refugees. It is they leave their homes because of these wars and these conflicts, and there's no other option. If you ask any refugee, I have met refugees in Kenya, in IDPs in Kenya, and I have met refugees from Syria. And when you ask them, like, what is your dream? They say, I just want to go back home. I want my country in peace, and I want to get my education. I want to rebuild my country. So people really want to go back to their homes. So we need to stand up with refugees and stand up with them, help them, but also stand that they get peace in their homes as well.
When we think about a Peace Nobel Prize winner, we think about an old person, Nelson Mandela, beautiful, Desmond Tutu, amazing. But we never think about a teenager. You have your whole life, with the help of God, with the blessing of God, a long life, to give, and to develop, and to deliver. It's such a task, such a challenge.
So when I got attacked and I woke up again, and I realized that this life was a new life, and it is a second life for the purpose of education. And since then I have dedicated it and given it to education. So I'll keep on fighting, because if I just say, okay, forget about it, do your studies and just live a happy life and have children and start a good business and things like this, then fine, I'll live a good life. But then I could have helped other people, and there's no harm in helping other people. It's just doing a bit extra. So I really think that we all can do something, even if it's just helping one person or one individual. We should do it. So I'm gonna keep on helping as many girls as I can.
So it's about standing up,
Yes.
never accept what is not fair. Malala, just for last, allow me to ask you about the Olympic Games, the symbolism. I was talking about the refugees theme. It seems to gather, to be together, to respect. What do you think about the Olympic Games? The Olympic Games, what do you think about as a phenomenon of gather the people?
I think like Olympic Games or any other games, these are a way to gather people, and it really delivers a message of living together in harmony and showing tolerance to each other. And I think it just reminds you like of how beautiful the world is because of the diversity that we have. And I think it's a great way to bring people together. Like as you said, it's the final question. So I think in the end, I would also like to tell all Mexican girls and boys that they should come forward for change, and it is their country, their land, and they are the real change makers. And often we just say they are the future generation, but they're not just the future, they're the present generation as well. So they need to show what they can do right now, and they need to start working on it. Each and every step they take really matters. So showing tolerance, showing love towards others, helping others, standing up for those who can't get education, all these things are really important, and I really want to encourage all Mexican girls and boys to stand up and do something.
Thanks for your message. Shukriya.
Shukriya. Thank you.
Alaikum salam.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Malala
Yes,
en exclusiva
thank
con
you.
nosotros, aquí en Uno TV.